So, good afternoon. I think I've got 8 to 10 minutes, and they've asked me to speak this afternoon about the power of the crone, which, looking around the room here, is a many years away for most of you, and in fact, it's the wrong gender for a few of you as well. But it's something that I feel very passionate about, and I've just been listening. Were any of you downstairs in the big foyer where there was a whole thing going on with women of a certain age? Did any of you hear that? My God, it was amazing. I came so stimulated to hear. It was about, I don't know, about 100 women, say 55, 60 plus, all talking about the things that they're proud of that's happened in their lives, real pioneers of what we're seeing here today. And me too. I mean, I was at Greenham Common and I was in Beijing for the Women's Conference in 95, and I put an event on here actually in 95 called What Women Want, which was the precursor, if you like, to WOW, when with the support of the great late Anita Roddick and various other people, we took the whole of the Southbank over, and for a weekend we had workshops and seminars in every bit of it, like WOW. And it was only 95, but if you can imagine, for some of you, I presume you were born, but not very old, we were actually had a whole area on how to use the internet, because people, and women particularly, had no idea. It didn't seem that long ago. And we had everything from natural health. We had a wonderful concert with Sinead O'Connor, and we had some wonderful nuns from Ireland that came and started it off, the Brigidine sisters. And we had seminars and workshops all the way through, just like you're seeing now, really. And the Evening Standard did a headline. We also had a workshop on sex, let me say, terribly important, which was a wonderful one. We turned one of these places, it could have been this room, I don't think it was, into a sort of tantric palace. And it was the first time, really, for many of us, including me, that we could walk around in a very safe space with other women and talk about what we like to do sexually and feel okay about talking about it. And had some experts telling us more of the things we didn't know. And so the Evening Standard headline was Sex, Nuns and Rock and Roll at Lynne's Women's Festival. I've always loved it. It's one of the best headings ever. So that was a while ago. So I've been involved, if you like, in the women's movement for many years. And I've got a little talk that I'm going to take you through with slides, and I might stop and completely go off a tangent all the way through in the few minutes I've got left. So I'm Lynne Franks, I'm 64 years old. I'm a mother of two, I'm a grandmother of 4 and a half, so I've got another one coming. I'm responsible for the well-being of my 88-year-old mother, who very sadly has dementia, which is a kind of common thing at this point of our lives. We're kind of the mothers to our children and the mothers to our mother. I'm an activist, I'm a feminist, I'm a businesswoman, I'm a teacher, I'm a leader, I dance, I wear my hair long with pride. I go to music festivals with my little granddaughters. I have a lover or two when I've got time. I'm starting a new social enterprise business this month. I tweet, I Skype, I connect. I love my dog, I laugh, I create. I celebrate, I love. I'm a baby bloomer of the modern world, and I'm committed to building a new kind of society for the generations to come, and I am not alone. There are many rocking grannies out there, not all of them in these pictures. I don't think that Janet Street Porter would be too happy about called a rocking granny. But nevertheless, she is of the age to be. And so we've got Eve Ensler, who you danced for 1 Billion Rising a few weeks ago. How amazing was that? She got 1 billion women and men that love them dancing all over the world to say no more to sexual violence, but in a way that celebrates all of us. And of course wrote Vagina Monologues, V-Day, an incredible pioneer. Annie Lennox, who not only is an incredible singer and has led the Equals concert here at WOW for the last 2 years, but does so much for children with HIV and malaria in Africa. Our lovely Janet, the pioneering feminist columnist and editor. Mary Robinson, who worked, after being President of Ireland, worked for many years in the UN, concentrating on refugees. Cilla Ellsworthy in that corner there, who is a peace activist. President Ellen Johnson, who's not up there, Helen Johnson Sirleaf of Liberia. Daddy Janki, who is a 94-year-old spiritual teacher and leader of the Brahma Kumaris, who I meditate with, who every time I see her looks younger and younger. Ella Bhatt, also from India, a founder of Sewa, which I think have got people speaking here this weekend, Self-Employed Women's Association. And the unsung wise women from communities all over the world who are running and creating initiatives that are feeding the children and supporting their mothers. Like the 13 Indigenous grandmothers, I don't know how many of you are familiar with the 13 grandmothers. They are from countries from all over the world who kind of dreamt each other in and get together regularly to tell their stories, to put out prayer, to put out meditation, to share their wisdom, to create a safe new world. And in our way, the grandmothers of the West are sitting around our kitchen tables, running global Skype calls, teaching webinars to businesswomen around the world, and working with young women from every area of society, committed to changing the world and making it safe for the 7 generations to come. We have to put aside our fears and lack of confidence when suddenly faced with empty nests or empty beds. We have to wear our wrinkles with pride, or have an injection or two if that makes us feel better, and come together to say, yes, we are the bridge builders for the generations to come. We will collaboratively or alone, and preferably collaboratively, commit our remaining years of health and clarity of thought to changing this world of dark shadows, horror and violence towards children that's been hidden away for so many years, sexual violence used as a weapon of war and fear throughout the world, an environment that is being destroyed by big business, corruption and our own consumerism into a new kind of healthy and safe society for all. Research shows that the over 50s that control 75% of the wealth and spend 3 times more on ourselves than any other demographic. There are now 1 million men and women in this country working over the age of 65. Women in their 50s in this country are the biggest group of business startups and returners to work. We are the new entrepreneurs. It's the decade in which we're most likely to get divorced or to come out. It's a powerful time for us women crones to move into our power and be there for others. It is time for us to step up and create a new world of cooperation. Cooperation between, I love this picture. This is, how gorgeous is that? That just inspires me. A cooperation between women and men where we can create this world for our children. Cooperation between the old and the young, science and spirituality, human beings and the environment, national politics and the true values of their constituents. We wise women must guide the way to a template for the future, a future where we can live together in peace and harmony, sustainably growing our food and caring for our land, teaching the young the power of good nutrition and the values that will bring them happiness that are not based on computer games or celebrity culture, a future where we can create communities that care for each other, jumping up into the sunset together, and where integrity, authenticity, courage, peace and love are the centre of our world and our lives. And I truly believe it's possible. I truly do. That's what gets me out of bed every day. That's what inspires me to do the work I do, that we can create a new kind of future. I do believe that women of all ages are going to be leaders in that society in balance with men, but respecting our differences. We are not the same as men. When I started being aware and getting involved in the women's movement, we got a very bad press in the 60s, and we were made to look as if we were all burning our bras and wanted to beat men up and take over the world. This is not the case. This is purely the case of the Daily Mail, the way they wanted to show it. The reality was we always wanted gender equality. That's what we want. And in our own way, that's how it will come about. And that's how it looks, jumping with joy together. So we bloomers can actually start community businesses like the seed cafes that are going to be opening around the UK, where women of all ages will be taught skills and confidence and mentor each other. I'm actually working on about 4 new projects at the moment, and I said earlier yesterday, and somebody reminded me, that I'm on my 4th career of this decade, actually, I think. and just keep there will be a point where probably my brain will pop, mostly my body will go, but until that moment comes, like many of my generation, we're going to be out there continuing to enjoy life, feel that joy, and create. It's so important. We can create our own wisdom circles, and I think that's the most important thing. It was in a meeting I had this morning, is how do we restore ourselves? And I truly believe in peer circles for women are essential, and we can share our stories, share our experiences, and share our hopes. And this is not just for women of my generation, this is for women of all generations. I was participating in the mentoring downstairs earlier on today, and I was mentoring several young women in their 20s, and their points of they're in transition, they feel insecure, they're not sure which direction to go. I could be sitting with women in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s and 60s, and it will be and 70s and 80s, well, maybe not 80s. I hope by the time I'm in my 80s I know where I'm going. But anyway, I will know where I'm going by the time I'm in my 80s. But it's the same story, and it is different from men. And again, it's that respecting. I love men. I have a son. I have 2 grandsons with another on the way. I had a father. I even had a husband at one point. So the fact is that I do like men, but we are different, and we just have to honour the things that are important for what we need. It is about creating our wisdom circles and mentoring other young women from different backgrounds who need older women to hold their hands and hold their heart. The Dalai Lama, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, recently said the world will be saved by the Western woman. And Executive Director Marianne Hughes of the Interaction Institute for Social Change pondered the idea of the ageing woman as hag. Originally, the word hag actually represented feminine power and how it relates to the Dalai Lama's statement. She says, I'm not entirely sure what he meant, but I'm wondering if when he travels across the globe and sees so many of our sisters impoverished and repressed, he sees Western women of all ages in a position to speak out for justice and to take on the responsibilities of the hag, to take loving care of the planet and its people. I believe that it's up to the women elders, the clan mothers from all societies and backgrounds, to show the way to this new paradigm based on spiritual values, and it's vitally important for women to step up and take the lead in this transformation of society where human beings are equal brothers and sisters walking side by side as I believe our ancestors did. A cooperative society is an organic evolutionary step away from the world we presently live in. When the power of national governments diminish, which I truly believe they will, that power will naturally transfer into specific small and large networks that transcend national boundaries and link with one another. And for those of you who are familiar with the Transition Town movement, for example, or Incredible Edibles, which started in the north of England, and which both movements have gone all over the world, led by women and men and women, it is where communities take their own power, grow their own vegetables, put their own power up, have their own currencies, have their own transport, look after their seniors. And this came out of the UK. Transition movement came out of Totnes initially as a focus on alternative power, but it has become much, much broader. If you go down to Kilburn Park Station, you can see vegetables being grown on the station there by a local community, and they get picked and eaten by the local community, and that's one of literally hundreds of stories across the UK, which we don't get to hear about in the newspapers and we don't get to see on TV, but they are happening and they are going to get broader and bigger and more important. Consequently, a new economic order could be created that truly rewards efforts, including the care of others. Distribution of land and natural resources would be fairly shared amongst the people who live on it, and the need to conquer and repress others in the name of power would not be a consideration. By finding a state of peace within us, where we stay calm and balanced, we can project a sense of love and creativity to those we engage in. Through our feminine principles, we wise women can achieve a natural state of being that is connected with others. It is then up to us to live within our own cooperative world. And here we have some of the wise women at Seed finding that cooperative power inside them. And only when we can achieve this personally can we wise women begin to create a true feminine future. My name is Lynne Franks. I'm 64 years old. And I know my life's purpose now that I'm finally going up. And I celebrate the power of the crone. Thank you very much.